There are moments in life, quiet, almost invisible moments, where you realize just how much you've been giving and just how little has returned to you. You think about the late nights spent listening, the sacrifices made in silence, the gentle ways you shifted your own needs to accommodate someone else's comfort. You told yourself it was love. You told yourself it was loyalty. But in the end, what did you really receive? Some people are like seasonal winds. They arrive when the skies are stormy for them, seeking warmth, stability, and light. They speak gently, they smile often, they mirror your kindness. But once the storm has passed for them, once they've gathered all they came to collect, they drift away. No goodbye, no gratitude, just distance. You sit there, confused, questioning your worth, analyzing every interaction, replaying every moment, trying to find the fault, wondering if maybe you gave too little when in truth, you gave far too much. This isn't just about romantic relationships. This is about human behavior, about patterns of emotional imbalance that leave one person empty and another unaware or unconcerned. But here's the truth. You were never the problem for loving deeply. The problem begins when you keep watering a garden that refuses to bloom. So, how do you shift this narrative? How do you begin to protect your soul, restore your power, and invite relationships that are grounded in mutual respect? The ancient Stoic philosophers, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, they lived in turbulent times, just like ours. But they found serenity and strength by anchoring themselves in unshakable principles. Today, we'll explore 9 deeply transformative actions you must stop doing, not as a punishment to others, but as a sacred return to yourself. This is more than advice. It's a personal manifesto. If you've ever been overlooked, undervalued, or emotionally drained, this message is for you. Take a deep breath. Clear your mind. Open your heart. This may be the beginning of your return to wholeness. And if you're ready to make these changes permanent, hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join us as we build a space for healing, self-awareness, and inner resilience. 1. Do not restructure your life to fit into someone else's story. You were not born to be an echo of someone else's desire. You were not created to mold yourself into shapes that please others at the expense of your own spirit. Yet so many of us do exactly that. We shrink our dreams, dilute our essence, alter our beliefs just to maintain someone else's comfort. It starts slowly, a suggestion here, a dismissal there. Before long, you're living a life that no longer feels like yours. You've abandoned your truth for a seat at someone else's table, only to realize that you were always meant to build your own. Seneca once said, "Everywhere means nowhere." When you are constantly shifting to meet others where they are, you become scattered, unanchored, and eventually invisible to yourself. Let that end today. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to illuminate, to express, to create boldly. Stop rewriting your story to fit inside someone else's chapter. Stand firm in your convictions. Let your boundaries be declarations of self-love. Your life is your sacred text. Don't let anyone else hold the pen. 2. Do not let your world orbit around another person. The moment you begin to revolve entirely around someone else is the moment you begin to lose the gravitational pull of your own center. You become like a satellite, circling, waiting, adjusting your speed and distance just to remain within someone's attention span. But in doing so, you drift further away from your own essence. Your goals get blurry. Your passions dim. You no longer move with intention, but with reaction. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "Nowhere can a man find a quieter retreat than in his own soul." Why then do we seek completion outside of ourselves? You are not here to play supporting roles in someone else's production. You are the main character of your own sacred story. Your life is not a subplot. Reclaim your narrative. Build your center so strong that anyone who enters your world must meet you there, not above you, not beneath you, but beside you. 3. Do not allow your mental health to become collateral damage. In relationships, there is compromise, but there should never be collapse. Yet so often, we betray our own emotional well-being just to maintain peace. We tolerate the silent stress, the small insults, the emotional exhaustion. And we tell ourselves, it's just a rough patch. But what if that patch becomes the whole fabric? Your mind is your sanctuary. If you give that up, what do you have left? When you constantly place someone else's happiness above your peace, you're walking blindfolded through a battlefield, handing over your armor just to shield another. This is not love. This is self-sacrifice disguised as devotion. It's time to turn inward. Fortify your spirit. Protect your serenity. A relationship that costs your inner peace is far too expensive. 4. Do not push away those who've loved you the longest. Love can be blinding, especially in its early stages. But never let infatuation become isolation. Friends. Family. The people who've held your hand in silence, who've stood by you in your darkest hours, these are the roots of your tree. Severing them for someone new is like cutting off the very limbs that have supported your growth. Plato once wrote, "People are like dirt. They can either nourish you or stunt your growth." Don't abandon your garden for a single vine. Relationships should expand your circle, not shrink it. Make the call. Send the message. Rebuild the bridge. Because no romantic connection, no matter how intoxicating, can replace the quiet, enduring power of those who truly love you for you. 5. Do not spend your time as if it's infinite. You wouldn't hand over your bank account to someone who doesn't respect it. So why do you give your time, your most valuable resource, to people who don't value it? Every hour spent obsessing over someone who's indifferent, every day lost in emotional limbo, every evening spent waiting on a message that never comes, is time you'll never get back. Seneca was brutally honest when he said, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Take inventory.
Who's stealing your time?
Who's consuming your minutes and giving you crumbs in return? Reclaim your time. Use it for your passions, your healing, your becoming. Your hours are sacred. Spend them wisely. 6. Do not share your deepest pain too quickly. Vulnerability is powerful, but only when it is earned. You do not owe anyone your entire story, especially the chapters written in grief, in trauma, in silence. These parts of you are treasures, not tales to be carelessly tossed into casual conversations. When you open your past to the wrong person, you invite judgment, misinterpretation, even manipulation. Not everyone has the emotional maturity to hold your truth with care.
Speak yes.
Share absolutely. But let trust be the gateway. Guard the sacred until you're sure it's safe to unfold. 7. Do not compromise your values to keep the peace. Every time you say yes when your heart whispers no, you fracture a little. And over time, those small fractures become cracks so deep, they disconnect you from your own truth. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts." If your mind is a battlefield of guilt, resentment, and forced compliance, how can joy ever take root? You are not here to be agreeable. You are here to be authentic. Speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. The discomfort of honesty is far lighter than the burden of silence. 8. Do not let the fear of being alone make you settle. There's a difference between being alone and being lonely. Solitude can be a sanctuary, a place where you meet your truest self. But loneliness, when not understood, becomes a monster that pushes us into arms that aren't meant to hold us. You begin to confuse attention with affection, presence with love, familiarity with safety. Aristotle said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." And you can only know yourself when you're willing to sit with yourself, fully, completely, without distraction. Embrace the silence. Let it teach you what noise never could. 9. Do not forget to celebrate your wins, especially the small ones. We live in a culture obsessed with achievement, with grandeur, with spectacle. But life is not just a series of milestones. It's the quiet victories, the moment you said no, the night you didn't cry, the morning you woke up and tried again. Epictetus said it best, "Never depend on the admiration of others. Don't wait for applause. Be your own standing ovation. Celebrate your journey. Honor your growth. Every step forward is a triumph. You have the power, right now, in this very moment, to step out of old patterns, to release old stories, to let go of habits that have kept you small. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you were before the world taught you to doubt yourself. Let Lovios guide you, not into emotional suppression, but into emotional sovereignty. Let it remind you that your peace, your purpose, your path are yours to protect. So, let this be your turning point. If this message stirred something inside you, if it cracked open a space that's been buried under exhaustion and confusion, then do something about it. Tap the like button.
Subscribe.
Join the conversation in the comments. But more than that, live this. Let these lessons not just be heard, but embodied. Until we meet again, stay grounded, stay aware, and above all, stay true to yourself.